Hello, everybody. Welcome to the evening readings here at Fish Out of Water Tarot, where I, more than anything, want people to feel more comfortable in their own skin. That's my mission. And so when I put love deeply, I'm mainly wanting you to love yourself deeply from the deepest place within you. Okay? So on these evening or afternoon calls, I want to give all of my followers and the curious among you the opportunity to do something with your imagination. Because what I'm discovering in talking to you guys who have emailed me, and thank you, thank you to the people who are emailing me and giving me themes for my morning readings. It is my honor to take your question, formulate it into a group reading, and then read cards for you at the end of that reading so that you can get the sense of what it's like to have a personal reading. In these evening readings, we pretend we're somewhere. And so today I was thinking of Sedona, Arizona. Have you ever been to Sedona? It's a really wonderful town set up in the mountains, and it's red. There's red clay, red dirt, and red mountains, and it is breathtaking to be in the Sedona area. There are places called vortexes there where you can go and have a picnic with your friends or go there to meditate and be close to nature. And I'm telling you, if you get the chance to go, you want to. Baja California, that little finger that comes off just south of San Diego. It's another place that's known for having spiritual experiences, energetic experiences, where you get the feeling that there have been thousands of people over many years who have been on that spot. And Sedona is really cool. So I want to pretend tonight that here we are. We're in Sedona. You're there on tour, so am I. And there's a market going on downtown. And one of the cool shops there is a crystal shop. In fact, I bought a meteor there. Where is my meteor? I should show it to you guys. I will at one point. Right now, I don't want to go get it. But I was in the store for an hour, touching things and being in there, and I loved it. Well, they invited me to do readings in the shop. They've got a new collection, and they want to highlight putting readings together with the crystals. And I said, absolutely. I'm going to be in town the last, second week of July, and they'd love to have me. So that's where I'm at. And I'm not charging for the readings tonight because I work for tips when I do these public events. And so in order to enjoy the evening, all you do is pretend that you are with me in Sedona. We are having an opportunity to learn about crystals, and we're in a beautiful little town that's just got so much positive energy. It's just a gift to be here together. And so let me grab my Palo Santo. Where are you? Oh, there you are. I love doing things that honor ancient people, even though I'm co-opting the ancient native people, because I am not a native of this particular country with my ancestry. But I do honor the fact that the spiritual teachers in all the traditions around the world honored prayer and asking the universe and the divine for help. And that when the smoke of our requests go up in the fire, that it is drawing to us the wisdom that we need as we let go of needing to know anything. We really don't need to know anything, but we are curious and we want to know, what is it when it comes to being single? What is it that will help you, my friend? As we step forward, all you do to play along is come and sit down across the table from me and look over at me. Let me look over into your energy. What is it that you want to know when it comes to your single status? Are you happily single? Are you wishing you weren't? That's the question. And you don't need to tell me your story. I don't need to hear it, because what I'm going to do is just pick a card and I'm going to allow the storytelling of the card to give you a bit of inspiration. So to start the evening off, I'm just offering the man who owns the crystal store. His name is Peter, and Peter's volunteered to be the first person at my table tonight. So, Peter, hold in your heart and your mind what it is that you wish you knew more about when it comes to being single. How long have you been single, Peter? There's nothing wrong with playing less pretend because honestly, that's where all the magic is. So, Peter's been single for 3 years, you guys. So this card I'm going to pull is for a long time single who's really pretty okay, having an okay time of it, but just lonely and wonders, do you think that it's in the cards for me to meet someone else? So for Peter and for all of you single seekers, let me draw a card and be your personal reader. And we have strength. When I look at this card, the first thing that comes to me is that you have done a really good job of learning how to control your reactions. You've recognized that the beast within, that anger and rage that can come out when you're with your closest people, and it's not your best side of your personality, and you know that the more you rely on spirit, the more likely that you'll have the strength that you need, because what you've learned is that you can just turn your volume down, that you're very strongly opinionated, maybe not easy to live with, but now you understand how to negotiate a little bit better, and you've learned to calm that beast within. So, yes, I think it's very likely that Peter, my pretend client, I think it's very likely that you will get to a place where your confidence in handling when you're triggered and handling when things aren't going well. And how kind are you while you're trying to negotiate your way through a disagreement? Now, I will give you a bit of advice. If you are truly wanting to have a partnership that lasts, there's a YouTube channel. It's called Jimmy on Relationships. And I just love him. I've never met him, but whenever I watch his videos, he's very simple, explains why men and women can tussle back and forth. And I would say that stretches out to all humans. There's going to be some humans who are going to be fans of yours and really appreciate you, and there's going to be some that will pass because you're not on their wavelength. And so as you get more mature, you can just keep the people that are not on your wavelength away from you. Simply don't pay attention to them. Seek people who look at life like you do through the same lens. Okay? So, oops. So if you're just joining me, welcome. I'm Catherine, and I like to create a scene where I can be at a live market, I'm doing this live, obviously, but create the idea of doing a live event in our imaginations. So tonight, our destination is Sedona. If you've been there, let me know in the comments below. And also imagine that they're right in the crystal shop in town. Where I bought a couple of crystals myself many years ago. They've invited me to come and do readings with their grand opening. And so here I am sitting at this table, my candles are lit, and I would love to draw a card for you. So if there's anyone here that has a question, go ahead and put it into the comments and I can see it come forward and I will draw a card for you. Meanwhile, because this is an exercise in imagination, I want to challenge my listeners. Did you ever think or consider that you might be the most powerful manifester around when it comes to relationships? Walking my fingers back in. And you may think that can't be true because I haven't manifested my partner yet. So why would you tell me I'm a master? Well, here it is. You are a master at manifesting singleness because no matter how much you wish to meet someone, you are living singly. So that is the evidence that you are a master. However, you're not in touch with the part of you that is shy about trying love again. There's a blog, and I happen to have written it, and it's called breakupcandy.com. And Breakup Candy is all about making peace with your past and finding a little bit of sweet in that past relationship, a little bit of the reasons why it's been difficult for you to trust again. So this card I'm going to read for somebody who's in that boat. Let's say you do really want to be connected with someone who gets you, who understands where you're coming from, what your motivations are, and they share your values. And you are so curious, is it possible for you? So I'm going to draw a card, and I'm very happy to be providing this service for you tonight. It's absolutely free. All it is I work for tips when I do these events. The tip jar is the thumbs up. So if you're enjoying this reading, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Help enrich my tip jar. Okay, so here you are. You have been through some difficult situations when it comes to love. So I feel this is my card that comes up. Actually, the whole swords suit comes up when the people watching me have some learning learning issues that are not typical. That when they went through school, it wasn't that the topics were not hard to learn. It's just they weren't taught properly so that you could actually get it. And if the teachers were not able to teach you in the way that you needed, you could kind of fall through the cracks. And so sometimes people like this end up in professions like computers and scientists and people, geeky, brilliant people, and unfairly see how these different lights, the beams coming from the sky, which is just my symbol for spiritual giftedness or talents. See how those beams are beautiful, three of them just coming straight to the sword. But look at all the gaps in between that are in the shadows. So these people that often find my readings, the brilliant geeky types, they have deep holes in their ability to read people, to read the room. It's extraordinarily difficult because their focus is so intense on their specialty. And there's a need for order, and the professions that you end up being drawn to is all part of that. So when it comes to love, what I'm telling you is that yes, yes, yes. If you feel in your heart of hearts that you were born to have a partner and you want to learn what it takes, you want to be able to connect, you want to have no walking on eggshells feeling, you want to be able to feel so comfortable that you're actually, you wonder who you are. Is it possible? Absolutely. There's some skills you can learn. There's very good resources out there. One of them is a YouTube channel called Charisma on Command. Absolutely brilliant material. They have a whole program you can purchase if you're so inclined, but actually, you don't need to purchase it. It's just take the chance and watch these YouTubes and take responsibility for practicing being different with people, okay? Your brilliance in your profession or what you know how to do, that's not arguable. But what's happening is you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, like your social skills are holding you back from what you could be, the brilliance that you have. And the problem is nobody can tell you that because you don't want to hear it. And even part of you will give me a thumbs down right now just to say, I don't like thinking that. Well, that's okay. But the truth is, the geeky you are, the more brilliant you are, you figure stuff out, you know how things work, chances are you've got a few holes in your communication. There's another woman, Vanessa Von Edwards. I think her YouTube is Science of People, I think, but she has a book called Captivate. It's pretty much a recipe book and tells you how to captivate people. You are so gifted, but without people skills, you hold yourself back. Okay. So there is my pretend person who's sitting here. So if you all, hello there, knowledge tree. Would you like to ask a question? I love questions. But if not, I'm going to go ahead and conduct this particular session tonight as if I were sitting in a crystal shop in Sedona, Arizona, and I have just purchased today. I looked at this for at least an hour. This beautiful strand of turquoise. And I sat there, and you don't, do you guys know what a rosary is? I was raised Catholic, and we had rosaries, and there were prayer beads. And there's other religions that have prayer beads too, I know, just from all y'all telling me about yourselves and studying. But this particular row of beads, when I saw it, I thought I had to have it. I love how each stone is different, and it makes me think of humans, that humans, every human that I meet, we are so similar, but we're completely different in shape, form, and function. And so, in this little gift shop, this crystal shop tonight, there's a showing of their new collection of crystals. And they asked me to step in and do some readings. And that's what I'm here for tonight. And it is performative art, as I'm happy to perform these readings for you. But I do prefer when I can serve you if you would like to have an answer about something. I'm going to run my little commercial here. Please feel free to email me with anything that you'd like to ask. I pick my viewers to receive personal readings at the end of my morning readings because y'all have suggested some wonderful questions. This morning we did what do you do when you're worried about money? So take a peek at that. It's a pick a card reading and it was very good. My little candle's wanting to go out. Okay, so let's do a call. Let's do a call right now for, let's draw a card for someone who they're, okay, you're with someone that you think is your person. You've been dating for a while and it's up and down. You're not living together yet, but you've talked about it. But there's just, you have reservations and you're just curious. You know, you never had a tarot reading before and you're like, well, come over to the table and ask me. And I say, what it is this. For some reason, what I say, the stories I tell when I pick a card tend to help my person. I was going to say my victim, haha, but they help my person look at the situation in a different way. It's just something that is a gift of mine, and I invite you to give it a try. It doesn't cost you a thing. I work for tips. And because it's an imaginary event, you hit the tip jar by hitting the thumbs up. So as I tell this story, if you can relate to it and it brings you into a better understanding of your situation, mission accomplished, okay? So this is for a person who you are with a partner and it's up and down. And it's hard because when there's friction, it doesn't feel so good. And you're not sure how much it's supposed to be, friction, scratching. How much of that is normal? So let's see what the card has to say. And I love this card. Okay, this cracks me up. This is like the happy ever after card. So let me just look at this. You guys look at it with me. First of all, don't you love the art of this deck? I don't know what its name is. I'm sorry right now. But I do love it for love readings because it's kind of a holistic, kind of old-fashioned love. And I think at the heart of the person who wants this reading is this relationship supposed to have the scratchiness, the annoying, the bickering? Is this relationship supposed to have that friction? And so the answer is yes. And you might say, what? But the reality is that any human relationship will be better if people are allowed to be themselves, which means you're going to offend one another now and then. Look at the kids down there. Can you see that they're playing? They're kind of roughhousing a little bit. They're pushing and shoving and they're having fun together. But if you've watched children play, they're one heartbeat away from hurting one another accidentally. They'll start to wail and cry in offense, one of them, and they will pull on the attention of their parents so that the parents can discipline the offender. Okay? So, what we know is that your question, is friction a part of a normal family, is a hell yes. Now, there's a man named John Gottman, and he and his wife, I think, work with him. He's not a psychologist or a marriage counselor. He's a researcher, and he researches couples that divorce eventually and couples that make it last. He's got a very full YouTube channel. And what his research has shown is that couples that make it long term and couples that have a lot of friction and fighting have about equal opportunity to stay married, interestingly enough. What makes the difference is the ones that know how to repair. So the idea that you have a little bickering with your person, look carefully at what it is that is working. you need to find that happy balance. There's also a marriage counselor named Esther Perel, Perel, and she's quite controversial about her opinions of how you can even get over infidelity, that cheating is not necessarily fatal to a relationship, mainly because there are certain couples that repair so well and that anything can be overcome. I will tell you that I used to think an ex is an ex for a reason, and I would always be on the side of don't go back to that person. Go forward. It's always better for you. But then a very important person in my life, somebody I'm related to, he and his ex got back together after 3 years, and now they're together 10 years. So be careful what you're thinking is possible or impossible. The reason I mention that last part is I'm seeing an ex here in these people. So this might be for you that you do have an ex that you're considering going back with, because I do see an X shape here. And so, how do you tell? What it is really you have to trust someone, a trusted advisor, not a tarot reader. You need to go to a family member, somebody who's older than you and very smart, somebody that'll tell you the truth. When this person came to me and told me they were reconsidering getting together, he said to me, "Are you happy about this?" And I said back to him, "Here's what I feel. The first time y'all fell apart, it was brutal on everyone, and they have 2 children. And I said, if you decide to do this again, you have to realize that you have to take into account the things that tore you apart in the first place. And you have to make that right, right for yourselves and right for your kids. Because if you are a couple that bickers, you want to be able to show your kids by your actions how you repair. And that very couple that I'm telling you about, I love watching them when they're soft together. They are kind of a physical couple and they'll wrestle on the floor together sometimes. And I watch that and I'm like, oh my, but it's their way. And so allowing yourself to be free, stand up for yourself, stay respectful, learn how to fight fair, right? There's good ways to fight and bad ways to fight. But see that castle way off in the distance? To me, that's what y'all are wanting, that peaceful, safe, secure home. And it looks a little distance away. So if you're in this situation, you're with someone or considering going back with an ex, make a game plan. Get a piece of paper on one side, write all of their positive attributes. When you met them, why did you love them? Write it down, all of it. Take it 3 or 4 days to do it. And then be honest. On the other side of the paper, write down the habits, the annoying things, the things that press your buttons. You know what I mean? Write those down. And then look at them and negotiate with yourself. What are you willing to let go of? And take a look at the work of Michael Singer, the best guy out there for teaching you how to let it go. Very snarky, sense of humor not everybody appreciates. I do. He's all over YouTube. Okay. So this is a card of caution, but a wonderful promise. If this were just a regular love reading within 9 cards, this is the card you'd want to see if you want to manifest a soulmate. All right. So, anyway, this reading, I kind of got lost in it a little bit, and that's what happens. The cards have a story, and it's not the same story every time I see it. And so, it depends on the people watching. It's like your energy is feeding into this reading. So, anybody who could relate to this, hit the thumbs up. It completes that energetic loop and it brings you in to the reality that you can do anything once you set your mind to it. I think it's important that I remind you, because some of you have not met me before. I'm Catherine. And this is what I envision when I'm looking for my inner wisdom and how to connect with what's right for Catherine. I believe that I'm a blended being, and that the divine part, the part of me that what I can call the non-physical part, like Abraham Hicks teaches, that part of me that's non-physical, my spirit, is connected to the divine part of me, whatever that is, unexplainable. But when that part of me is in my mind, I'm at my best. The little figure next to her, that's the personality. That's the part that thinks she can do it by herself, doggone it. And she's running around creating messes most of the time. And the only time she remembers that she has an inner being is when she is screwed up and she needs a hug. Oh no, help me, I did it again. All right, that's kind of how I started a few decades ago. And now I'm trying everything I can to stay in harmony with her, with my inner self, the part of me that loves me and wants me to find what it is that will soul satisfy. And I believe you have your version of that. Those of you who are watching here, this is what I believe. So when you're calm and alert, when you're relaxed physically, calm and alert, you're going to be most in the state of harmony with your inner being. I've just found, especially over 20 years now, that that's true for me. My body is not fidgety. I'm breathing calmly. I have no stress. It's like being in the zone if you're an athlete. I'm a golfer. It's just calm alertness. That's when you're most in touch with your inner being. So when you come for a reading with me, whether it's one card like tonight, or it is a 10 card reading or more, the idea that these cards have a story to tell. And my gift, for whatever reason, is to tell those stories. So anyway, back to the scene. So there's a customer who just bought a beautiful azurite. Do you guys know what azurite is? It's the most beautiful blue stone. Let's see, is mine nearby? I have to be more prepared. I set up the scene and then I didn't gather my props. That's not so good. But I have a piece of azurite and I will bring it, but I not now because I don't want to take away from the time. But it's peacock blue, and it's so gorgeous. And they brought it over to me, and they're showing me their crystal, and I'm looking at it. And I said, "Would you like a reading? They're free of charge. I'm just drawing one card, draw you a little story here, and the person is sitting down, and they gave me their azurite. I'm holding it." And I said, "Do you have a question? Are you single by chance? I'm specializing in single readings tonight." And she said, she puts her head down right away and looks down. And so I paused myself and let her have her moment. Because I know there's people tuned in right now who have that broken heart. You're too close. You might be in the middle of a breakup, like it just happened. And so I'm going to just pull a card for that imaginary client. And it might be totally unlikely that you could get something personal out of a collective reading. That's part of why I do this, just to demonstrate to you that if you hear something in the tone of my voice or in some of the stories that helps you feel heard or helps you feel hope, that's cool. And so all I need is a tip because I'm what do they call that? Self promotion. Yeah. I mean, the mistress of self promotion. Okay, so let's just take the card for the person who's right there in that place of feeling a breakup. Okay. So what I sense right away, first I have to tell you this is a very good news card. Okay, so if you're just okay, this is a very particular message for probably only one person here, but I just have to say what hits me here. If this card would come up in a love reading, it would be a hip hip hooray, right? So, but I am not seeing that. I am seeing, see that castle in the background there? I feel like this situation you're breaking up from has been toxic for you, and that you have just gotten that what's happened here is that you have had these mixed messages coming up, and it's been really confusing your sexuality, your sensuality, your physicalness with someone, and your personal identity. So there's been some compromise for you, and that you have stayed for the stuff that in your past, like I said, this is so particular, but there's somebody who's kind of selling out for having a great house and a great life, but it's just these rays that just looks like a jail cell to me, and I don't read this card very much for you. I mean, for this card, for this this Ace of Wands. But in this art, it's just glaring to me. Look at the storm clouds around the home and how all of this power there's an entrapment here. And that being like tied to something that is going against what you're really wanting. So, what I'm seeing though, the tremendous promise of this, first of all, I look at the art, but that, see at the bottom where it says that Ace of Rods down here, this fabric, that's like a white flag of surrender. And so I really feel that you have gotten to a place that you are surrendering because you don't know what to do. And this is really hard for you. And the promise is you're doing the right thing. First of all, you need way more than somebody reading a card for you on YouTube. So that goes without saying. But the blue, beautiful blossoming on this wand means that there is life and life abundantly for you separate. Now, it doesn't mean you even have to stay separate. You may go back and reconcile, and this is going to be a happily ever after. And maybe that's what you think you want. But right now, there's been too much isolation, and you need to find some time with yourself to decide for yourself. Having like a silent retreat with that might be appealing to you. Remember, we're in Sedona for our pretend meeting. There are places in Sedona where you can work with a shaman. You can work with somebody and have a drum circle created for you. You can work with Native American and maybe other indigenous healers right there in Sedona because of the type of environment it is. But I feel like you kind of need to detox and cleanse from your current attachments because something about this just doesn't feel right. And it feels like you're in such doubt that you're doing the right thing that you're just kind of torturing yourself. And so the white flag of surrender, let it go. Okay, now hold on. I just want to feel into this a little bit. I keep thinking Michael Singer. I mean, I think it over and over again. He's my go to. So many YouTubes. I don't know him personally, but he teaches so clearly about how you should not try to change something you cannot change. And I really think that for you in this one card reading, everything in me wants to draw three more cards because I'm so curious, like what else goes with this energy? But I do think that the storm clouds around what you're just leaving, even if it's just temporary, I think it's really important. So get yourself someone to talk to through a professional of some type. You can even start, of course, with even a yoga class or getting good massage. Foot reflexology, oh my goodness. If there's anybody in your town who knows what they're doing and can cause you to break out in a sweat for 20 minutes because it's not pleasant, it's much easier than therapy. I'm not even kidding. Anybody on here ever had foot reflexology? Please hit the thumbs up. I did when I was recovering from an illness many years ago, 2007 and 8. I had treatments that I didn't cry, but I was like holding on to the side of the chair. And the lady who was doing it on me, she said, "You think this hurts? You should try it with chopsticks." That's what my healer did, my trainer, because you do have the need to clear your energy of the what do you call it, like the residue, like after a fire there's ashes and stuff like that. You can't see the forest for the trees, so please take that in. Anybody who could read that story, and it could be somebody that listens on recording later. Okay, any questions or comments that you would like to ask, go ahead and put it into the comments below. I'm happy to read for a real person. Right now I'm reading for pretend people, so you guys are getting to watch along. But it's just an example of how a common interest, like why am I still single? What is it that I need to know about that? Am I truly manifesting my singleness? I want to do that question next because people come to me and say, please explain again. How am I manifesting my own singleness? I don't believe it's true. And I say, well, the evidence is clear. How are you in a couple right now? Well, no. How long has it been since you've had a committed relationship? Well, 5 years. Okay. How's your life been? Well, it's been okay, I guess, but you're looking for something else. And you say, yes, I am. So I would say you have to look at the possibility that there's parts of you that prefer being single. And you can argue with me all you want, for sure. You can go over to breakupcandy.com. There's a quiz over there you can take, because often there's a breakup in the past that is the culprit. You know that word culprit, the bad guy? There's some breakup guy or girl in the past that scared you so bad you don't want to go forward. But anyway, so is it true? Could you be manifesting your own singleness? Let's draw a card for you. Okay, this one is drawing my attention. This is exactly what you would be doing if we were live. You would be sitting on that side of my table, and I would be have the love deeply sign would be to our right, to my right, to your left, and we would be going back and forth. And this is a free reading, only one card, and I do hope you'll hit the tip jar, because it is a blessing to see that. Thumbs up. All right, so what do you need to know about manifesting your singleness? Could that be part of your story? Okay, let's see. Ah, I'm glad this card popped up, because for obvious reasons. But so this card, I love to explain it because it is the temptation to keep doing life the way you're doing it. The temptation to keep doing life the way you're doing it and complaining about it, blaming and complaining. When the truth is, who knows why you're still single? But as you see the bad guy, see how one of them's looking at the other one like, look what you did. Blame. Throw the guilt on the person. Right? So, on a scale of 1 to 10, when you think of some of the breakups in the past and the amount of pain that was there for you and the other person, is there someone that you broke up with that when you think about it right now, it's still like a 10? The days that you went through around the breakup were heartbreaking and may have really kind of, this is strong what I'm going to say, like ruined you for life. The betrayal was so hard that you did dig in and you thought, no, never, never. I will never let that happen again. And the only way you could make that happen is to create an enemy out of love, to create bad guys. And then categorizing all people that do that are awful. Do you know there's a word for that? It's called awfulizing. And when you awfulize the relationships in your past, you create like a script writer. It's like you create a reality for your heart that lives in fear of all the horrible things that happen when the wrong people are together. Because if you're supposed to be together, what happens is that you have a way of avoiding people who bring out your worst. Once you discover that you can do that, you can put your own needs ahead of others. And if relationships are not right for you, you can walk away before it gets to this stage. But the temptation to keep doing things the same way will keep you in your single state. Okay? So how do you go forward? That's really a hard card, right? Who likes that? Well, I have a solution for you right here. I'm a geeky brainiac type myself, and I invented something. And it's in the description box. It's called the Soulmate Generator. Okay? It's just a simple little tool that helps you detach from the heartbreak in your past. And so give it a try. It's just you click it, it'll take you right there. Read the directions and follow through with the directions, because there is a way to detach from the energy that's holding you to the past pain. And heartbreak recovery, breakup recovery is something that I do with people with tapping. Brad Yates, Tap with Brad on YouTube. He has a lot of tapping videos, and I trust him completely with all of his programs. And he has a lot of videos on self-concept and how to get over guilt and shame. And so I highly recommend him, and I do leave his references on my community tab. Sometimes being in counseling for a minute is helpful. I did it when I divorced my kid's dad. I had taken vows that I considered very serious, and it was not easy for me. 29 years when I put that behind me, and I did need counseling. And I love those one particular woman, Lynn, that was just life changing for me. It completely helped me see my situation and help me give myself permission to what I thought was abandon the ship, because I was so tempted to accept my life the way it was. It was the devil in my life, that I couldn't see myself as worth having more joy. And so I thought, well, I'll just stick it out. I just felt like my religion wanted me to do that. So that was many years ago. And at this point, I'm still single. And I'm not so sure I want to take that chance again, because I kind of I do like singleness personally. So, anyway, anybody with a question here? And it makes me wonder if y'all can hear me. I hope you can. The other day I was recording and no one could hear me. Uh, but so let's see here. Let's do what, okay, good. We'll do one more reading. And this one will be for, let's see. Oh, okay, thank you. I just got an idea. So here comes somebody into the crystal shop, and they're young. I would say, oh, very young, like one of those kids that go to college at age 16 or younger. So anybody who happens to be watching right now, who got advanced through school real quick. So you're kind of like the Big Bang Theory sort of type of person, smarter than everyone in your family. And you're in a situation with much older people, and the whole thing with relationships and what you're supposed to do about it has really been tough. And so here you are watching this thinking, you know what, I can tune in here a little bit, because I see all of this stuff going on around me. I see young people in turmoil. I see people compromising. People are drinking, and people are doing things I don't understand. But I do love their company, because my mind needs that challenge. But I'm way out of my age group. So I understand this is a very particular reading, but that's what I'm sensing. So I'm so glad to meet you. And I reach out and shake your hand, because I don't understand your brain. I'll tell you right now, you're way smarter than I am by a long shot. And so I do believe the cards have a story for you. So let me draw one. Let's see here. Would you like to draw the card? Because sometimes I'll do that. And you say yes. And you point to this card right here. Thank you. Let's see what you picked. What do you notice first? And you say, I always hold my hand that way when I'm thinking. And I say, that's really cool. Let me look at that too. Do you feel like that look on the face matches something that you are feeling? Or do you feel like you see that on the faces of the people around you? And you say, that's a good question. I think both. And I go, okay, cool. And what do you think about the three cups there next to him? And you say, well, it reminds me of my 3 projects at the lab. And I say back, really? Tell me about that. And you say, I can't get a certain thing to work. Something won't work, and I don't know what to do. And so here I am wandering through Sedona. The conference is over there, in the hotel, and I'm walking in here, and I see you sitting here at this table. And so I'm just curious, because this card is exactly what's going on for me. I just need an idea. Something won't come. I say, what else do you notice? Oh my gosh, the cup. I didn't see it. The hand, the cloud. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see it, you say to me. And I'm like, good call. What do you think about it? It reminds me of a brainstorm. It reminds me of what happens sometimes when I all of a sudden the solution drops in. I say, okay, talk to me about that. When does that happen? And I say, I see you're leaning on your hand in your usual way, and you laugh a little bit. Well, it's a little embarrassing. I say, really? Now I'm interested. Where do you get your ideas? And you say, in the shower. And I'm like, well, you and me, kin. And I reach over and give you a fist bump, and you fist bump me back. Me too. In fact, there's a guy, I love him. His name is Brad Yates, Tap with Brad. He has these guided meditations that are shower length. If you're lucky enough to live where a 10-minute shower is not too much of a luxury. And he has in his meditation, he says, feel the water washing down over your head and down your body, washing away all of the fear and the doubt and the shame. And I love it so much. You got to tune into that, because this is the promise. You do have a non-physical part of your being that is, I listened to somebody called Abraham Hicks, and they teach about that you have, we're blended beings, and it's my belief of choice that there's blended beings, and that the greater part of you is non-physical and connected to the place where all the answers are, the place where that cloud is reaching out, that there's all that you need to solve your issue is always available in through the higher self, what I call the higher self. And this is the image that I use to illustrate it. And then your personality, the smaller part of you, the humanity of you, is the part that is stewing, trying to figure it out. Because you forget, and so do I, we forget that we have this source right inside of us. And when you're calm and alert and your body is relaxed, you're more likely to sense that connection with your inner being. Okay? And you look up at me now instead of leaning on your chin, and you smile. And you said, that's a pretty damn good reading for a single card. And I laugh and say, grazie, I appreciate it. I can't explain what I do. Like, you can't explain what you do in your profession. What you know how to do, you can't put into a tellable tale. It's not exciting what you do, lines and columns and formulas. But engineering and formulas are what keep the world together, especially under stress. Imagine a bridge that won't stand up. It can't happen, right? The responsibility's too great. So you're reading tonight because you're so young, and you're with so many people older than you that have a lot of experience that you don't have. To get the respect that I know you want, what you need to do is remember that metaphor with the inner being that is a source greater than you. That's what's given you what you've gotten so far. You think you figured out your solutions in the past? It's more like you plugged into the place where they are. Isn't that true? So go forth and prosper, my young friend, because you have a tremendous future ahead of you. Your connection to your inner being, to your source, is going to guide you into some amazing opportunities. And be patient with us old folks, because we may not get you as much as you need to be gotten. And help us, teach us what you need to feel supported. So hello, Jennifer. I'm glad you're here. Would you like me to pull a card for you? Tonight I'm pulling cards for imaginary or real imaginary people. And how you become a real imaginary person is to play the game tonight, where I have picked a location here in the States that I consider really special when it comes to magic and things that we don't understand, and that is Sedona, Arizona. I've been there a couple of times, and it's a special place. You can feel it in the air. There's a place called Cathedral Rock where you can go, and when you stand there and you just look around at the scenery, it's like you feel the presence of ancient people. And I don't know if you're like me, but I think that's cool. I mean, you really can. Another place that I felt it is on the battlegrounds of the Civil War. I haven't been to the battlegrounds of the Revolutionary War, although I've been to Arlington. But being in the South and going to the battlefields, you can feel what happened there if you are sensitive to that, which I am. And so, a lot of times, for someone like me, and I believe you guys are like me because you're attracted, it's almost easier to read cards this way when I'm not with you. And the personal recorded readings that I do for people are so wonderful. 45 minutes of real personal storytelling to give you the answers and the depth that you're looking for. And I'm tickled to do that. But these created events here where we're using our imagination, it's so fun to teach ways where you can imagine what you're going to feel like when the thing that you're manifesting happens, because you want to prepare yourself in advance for what it's going to feel like. And that's what we do here. So we're pretending we're in Sedona. I'm in this great crystal store that is fabulous. And all of the people interested in this sort of thing come through. And I set up my table, and all I'm working for is tips. And I will tell you, there's been a bunch of cheapskates in here tonight because my tip jar has one lonely dollar in it, and it's the one I put in when I got here as seed money. So, all y'all that are here, throw the girl some flowers and hit that thumbs up, because maybe the thumbs up button is broken and I don't even know it. Okay. So, Jennifer, I'm so glad that you're here. So, we're doing readings of, oh, thank you. Bless your heart, person who just hit the thumbs up. You know who you are. I'm pulling a card and I'm going to read it for you. Okay. Thank you for doing that. That is just it. I wish I could explain how that works energetically when you're working on a live like this, because it's like I'm out there on a limb. Thank you, Shirley McLean. And it's like, are y'all hearing me? The other day I did a whole 30 minutes and it wasn't, nobody heard it. So anyway, sorry. So where am I? Where am I? So that is our card for the next person, whoever hit the thumbs up. And this card's for Jennifer. So for Jennifer, I don't know what your status is. The topic for tonight is about being single. So I'm just going to assume that that is your situation here. And if it is not, for some reason, I will deal with that. Let me pull the card first. What is it that we have for beautiful Jennifer? She's picking a crystal. I wonder what crystal you would pick if you were in the shop. What's your favorite crystal, Jennifer? Where are you from? Okay, I'm looking at this card right here. What is it that we have for Jennifer when it comes to being single? Nine of Cups. Okay, I love this deck, don't you? I mean, just just the satisfaction, right? The sense of fulfillment. It's a very fulfillment based card, isn't it? This is not a starving person. This is someone who has a good house, someone who eats well. I love the peacock feather in the art because it shows me someone who knows how to take credit for what they're doing. There's a lot of confidence in this figure. And the full peacock feathers woven through his hat would be too much, and he would turn people off. So this is a figure of somebody who has a good degree of self-confidence. So Jennifer, you're coming across with this energy of the wish fulfilled. So if you are single looking to mingle, this is so strange. I actually own a necklace that looks exactly like that. So I immediately want to go and see if I still have it, if I gave it away, because you know how it is when you move a lot, you give things away. But it caught my attention, so I'm interested in that. So back over to you, Jennifer. I think that, oh, okay, so there is something, the energy around you is in wish fulfillment, and wish fulfillment, not necessarily from the person or from the connection, but wish fulfillment because it's soul, at the soul level. So there's something going on in you where you're being asked to give up some things that you believe it's some old limiting beliefs. You know how people throw that term around. But there's something about how you think about relationships that's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And so when I look at that necklace and I see to myself, I own that necklace and I've probably owned it for 20 years or more. I'm thinking that there's some old, I'm gesturing out here like an Italian person with my hand. You can't see it, but I feel like there's part of your personality that is stuck in a box of your old beliefs about either being single or something around your single status. So absolutely email me if you want more info on this. I am more than happy to always to do personal readings for people when they email me with their question, because that way I get to design a personal reading for lots of people who may have old habits of thought that are keeping them single. And so do that. I'll show you the email when I'm finished. But for this story though, I'm caught with all of the shape differential. Look at the cups behind him. Look at the round shape. It's the the globular shape of them compared to the squareness of his necklace. You are overwhelmingly glowing with what I call the divine feminine energy. So you are on the right track here. And I just have the feeling that you're a very smiley person and that people love that about your energy. So I would say this is a super card for a single getting ready to mingle, a single who wants to create something lasting. And they're only like one thing in your way. It's around how you're talking about your issues, because I'm looking at those little boxes that are that square peg thing. There's something about how you communicate your feelings that are stuck to your old life. So in the box below, in the description box, look for the soulmate generator. It's labeled in there. Just click on there and use that tool. It'll help you take the edge off of some of these old feelings. If it doesn't work as well as you want, try it again. And then contact me, because I can guide you to some tools, or perhaps even it's time to work with someone to release yourself. Either way, I'm happy to share my resources with you. Also, always check the the community tab of the channel, because I do put the people over there who are helping me, because I use energy tools like I use toenail clippers. Working on your energy is no more glamorous than clipping your toenails. And I love that metaphor because it's not the happiest task. And sometimes it's great to have a pedicure and pay someone to clip your toenails. But if you can just take in that by you addressing your energy and aligning yourself so that you don't have to be so reactionary, once you take the sharp edges off and you turn your reactionary stuff around, Michael Singer will help you. When you become softer on your sharp edges, you're going to get along better with everyone and your relationship becomes less frictional. But by the way, that was our very first reading, I think, tonight. If you're not familiar with the work of Esther Perel, Perel, give her a look-see. She's got a YouTube channel. And she teaches how to make square pegs and round holes, sort of, because she talks about getting over hurt feelings and being at peace with some friction in your relationship. Okay? So there's your reading, Jennifer. I hope it was resonant. What you can do, and everyone that's watching, you're welcome to email me with your question. Whatever it is, I will take it to heart. I will create, sorry, I will create a general reading for a pick a card in the morning, Monday through Friday. And once I've drawn cards for all three piles, I will do your reading afterwards. And I will draw probably 5 cards or so in your private reading. Well, it's not private because that's a private service I do, but it's personal because I pull cards for you. And it's fun to pull more than one, even though one gives us a wonderful story. Okay, so there's how to contact me, and I love it. I've gotten I think I'm almost filled for this week, and I'm taking names for next week. And so thank you for please writing in. It's such a treat for me. Thank you for offering your tip in this reading evening. I deeply appreciate it. Being your personal reader tonight is so fun for me, and I appreciate your time and attention. Just like Southwest Airlines, I know you have lots of choices with tarot followers, and I love that you have chosen to spend time with me tonight, and I appreciate you playing along with our Let's Pretend. Now, here we are. We're in Sedona, Arizona. We are pretending that we are at the crystal store, and I have this jar of crystals that they gave me. They have decided to memorialize this visit. They never had a live reading from their store before, and they're tickled pink about it. And so it's been super fun for me. I'm going to be wrapping here shortly. So if you have a question, um, oh, I see somebody has. Excellent. I will draw for the people who ask last minute questions. But they have gifted me with with this glass of crystals that has so many different kinds. I can't even identify all the different energies that are represented here. So I'm just thanking the owner of the shop, Peter. He let me read his card tonight. And I'm doing wink wink here because I'm not really in Sedona. I'm pretending. Why would I do that? Because I do believe in manifesting, and I believe in creating a reality where you control your reactions. And I believe that by empowering your imagination, you learn to control your reactions. And when you control your reactions, you control your moods. Imagine if you had mood control. Think about it. You get a little blue, you get a little miffed, you get a little bent out of shape, and you have a tool that can help you. That could be miraculous, right? What if that's true? That's what these readings are about. So tonight I'm pretending I'm in Sedona. I've been there and I love the energy. It's really a wonderful place if you ever get the chance to go there. And go see the crystal store when you're there. Tell them Catherine sent you. Now, while I was talking about it before, I was asking for tips because shameless self promotion, and somebody was the second thumbs up. And I said that this card was drawn for that person who's sitting here with me this evening. I'm a whole hour in, and y'all are watching even now. And there's something about your single life that's not satisfying you. And maybe I even read for you already, and you're going, your thumb is on your nose like nanner nanner. She doesn't know. She already read for me. Whatever it is, I really don't care. Do you know that my favorite people are skeptics? My favorite people, because I'm not responsible for picking. I mean, I pick a card, and what you do is hold in your mind what it is you're wanting. So right now, all y'all, what is it that you want to know? Hold it in your mind, and then watch if there's not something in the way I tell the story that makes you tilt your head to the side and go, wow, WTF, what the fork. So, Zane, I see your question, and I am so, so honored. Anis, okay. Okay, so Anis, can you see for my son Amir, who is autistic? Okay, whoopsie. And then who is at the very end? Okay, I will my children return. Okay, thank you. All right, so as you heard me explain about Let's Pretend, and part of the reason the imagination needs some doctoring is because the imagination is where all the fear lives about your loved one. All of the over worrying, and I did a reading this morning. You guys might want to take a look at it. It said what to do when you're worried about someone. Okay, so anybody on the call right now who is anybody on the call that's because I'm talking into my phone. But anybody here right now, if you're feeling that you're in that place where you're really missing your child, it's such an important thing to honor in you. But worry is not helpful. So this morning's reading was 3 quick piles about worrying about money, but it's so excellent. So I definitely, even though your worry is different because it's about your family, but worry is never fruitful. And so we need to find a way. In the description box, my last few people, there's something called the worry cure. Okay, so go ahead and click on the description box. You can do that right while you're watching and scroll down and it'll say Worry Cure. That is a wonderful little tool that I invented about 10 years ago. It really works, all right, because worry is never good. So let me draw this card for my tip giver, and then I will draw cards for the autistic son and the with the children coming home. Okay, so let's go forward here. And then it's over an hour, so I'm not sure how long I will go. But if I get more tips, I'll stay. So if you want me to stay, you got a tip. All right, the chariot. So this is for that person who gave me my second thumbs up. Thank you. And so the chariot, this is a valiant person. So even the fact that you responded when I asked for the tip and you just thought, I can do it. I feel that in you. I feel that I can do it energy. Just the way the figure is holding on to that wand, and it's like, I can do it. And so I would say that for you, there's a lot of support right now for moving forward. And even though there's conflicts, there's darker sides, there's scary stuff. So this could be maybe if you're going to be going towards a new job or something. But if we're sticking to the love arena, what's happening is that the fear of getting brokenhearted again is one set of energy, the darker side, but the thrill of being with a partner again, somebody, a how was your day person, somebody who could support you and was fun to be with, to go out under the stars, have picnics, travel, do all that stuff. You're like, well, I do want that. But this yin and this yang, the fact that how do you know how to get through the conflict? You don't like conflict. You hate it, but yet you can't not have it. It's part of life. So for this, anybody who can relate to anything I've said with this chariot card, go look up a lady, Esther Perel, Perel. I've referred to her like 3 or 4 times. I need to put her in my community. She's an expert at comforting you about friction in a relationship. I think you need to make peace with the fact that you wish there was never any fighting. And it's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. There has to be repair. In any good relationship, you have to have skills. You have to know how to reconnect what's been broken. Okay? It's very doable. Think about if you have a storm in your city, you have a really bad storm, and the wind comes and it blows things down, and a tree lands on the electricity pole, and out goes electricity for your whole town. The whole town has no electricity, and the pole is laying on the ground, sparking. Do people walk by that pole and think, oh, poor thing, look how injured it is? That electric system is injured. Let's pick it up and wrap it in a band aid and take it to the injured wiring department and let's pray over it. No, they don't do that. They call out the repair truck and they fix the bleeping repair. They repair the broken connection. That's what it's like. I'm not kidding. There's a way at looking at quote unquote healing. See the stars over his head? There's a way of looking at healing that's more repair oriented, more mechanical. Let's reconnect what's broken rather than needing to forgive some poor human that simply humored along and broke your heart by their behavior. Okay? It was nobody's intention to break anyone's heart, but nobody teaches how to connect and unconnect gracefully. Okay? That was a good reading, if I do say so myself. So this is for Amir, the autistic son. Okay. What does mom need to know? Let's take a breath. I love this deck for love readings. I need to find out what deck it is. Don't you love it? Hit the thumbs up. Throw your finger into the tip jar. Don't take tips away. Throw more in there. What I'm talking about is every time if you hit the thumbs up for any live performer, it's like a tip in the tip jar. Imagine I'm the piano girl playing the piano songs of heartbreak. Okay, Amir and mom and love. What's our read? 10 of Pentacles. What an interesting card to come up. So what I see here, let me just see here. I want to go back if I can and see your name. again. Anas. You have really brought your son so much security that the way that you've brought him up has been a dream come true for him. That I am trained in autism. I'm a speech therapist and I've worked with autistic people. So isn't that interesting? But so it is so ironic to work with people on the spectrum because they truly have a disability in language. They truly do. They don't have the ability to read the room very well. They don't read faces. They don't know social cues. They can be they can appear to be blank and emotionless, but the truth is they do have feelings, but it is as if they are, from Greece and you're from Japan. It's the typical languages of love and affection are not recognizable for someone with autism or being on the spectrum. Now, there is a book that's called Born on a Blue Day. If you're familiar with it, you'll agree with me that it gives a bird's eye view of what it's like to be autistic. It's fabulous. There's a man who memorized all the numbers of pi, 3.14, etc. And so he got quite famous for that because his brain is quite remarkable. But he is a savant and he can talk about what it feels like to be him. And so I ask that you would consider getting that book. It may be translated in your native tongue, but it's very moving. I cried several times through it because I am on the spectrum. I'm neurodiverse. My brain is different than typical. And now at my age, I'm 71 and I can appreciate it and I can live with it. But relationships are not easy for me because I process strong feelings in a way that can cause frustration in people who want to be with me. And also, see that dog? I live with two dogs, and one of them I've had for 12 years, and Bella. And the relationship I have with animals is so soul satisfying. It brings me great security and relief. And all of those things, I find it hard to get in my human relationships. So with this card, I just see that there is a deep confidence that you've instilled. And so I think that being able to there's a YouTube channel I just found that's for autistic people. It's absolutely phenomenal. So Anas, if you could email me, if I really hope you do, because and anyone else that needs resources, I would love to give you that man's channel. I could share it on my community, plus I'll show you my email, but this man is autistic and he teaches autistic people how to be their best autistic person, and he's wonderful. Okay, so anyway, I'm glad to give this reading for you. I do dearly hope that it was meaningful, that it did give you something, because tarot is just, it's like what I call edutainment. It's where you go to kind of learn a little something and you are entertained, hopefully, and then you'll seek the guidance you need. A longer reading can be helpful, but there's some situations where a counselor, a pastor, or even a 12-step program may be more appropriate. Okay, but for me personally, I'm doing an experiment. Can I give you something encouraging in only one card? So if this was meaningful, please hit the thumbs up and let me know. Autism is something I have experience with, and I'm more than happy to facilitate questions about autism as a speech therapist. But here's my email address for you, Anas. Please email me, and I will personally get back to you with some resource materials, okay? Thank you. All right. And then let me just go to my next person. Trying not to but the camera. Oh, sorry. Okay. And then we have Zane. Okay. Okay. The children. Okay, having adult children is a challenge and a half. Totally. It's something that's kept me in balance. It's parenting in general has really caused me to seek divine counsel. I was raised Catholic, and then I spent 20 years. Well, I spent about 4 years wandering around, and then I spent a little over 20 years as a born again Christian, and I have a great respect for the Bible and the traditions of church. But after that, things began to shift for me, and I just became more curious, and I couldn't ignore the curiosity that drew me to other religious persuasions. I didn't ever join anything after then, but I moved to California from the Midwest, and I was able to watch and listen to many different expressions of what spirituality was. And it was like a kid at a candy store. I really had fun. And what I took out of all of it really is the idea that I have a non-physical part of my being, that Catherine is here in two forms, visible and invisible, and that my source, my inner being, what I call the universe, that universal source, is accessible to me. Not only that, but very personally loves me. This is what I've seen to be true through my religious practices, that whole idea that you are loved by a creator. And then the little figure is the personality, this what I call the smaller me, the me that gets herself into jams by getting hurt feelings over silly stuff and misplanning things and misappropriating things and just being human. And unfortunately, a lot of times she goes running for her inner being after something messes up, right? Can you relate? But the whole idea is that we stay in alignment with our higher self, and we trust that we have a voice inside that is giving us nudges, winces, cringes, various inner signals that are supposed to be helping us. When you get curious about something, that's one of your inner being's messages. When you're fascinated by someone, that's an inner being message. It doesn't mean you go marry them, but it means pay attention. And so many times we jump into marriage or commitment without really looking at it carefully because it was like a hell yes to get to know them. But we jump in and we fall out of connection with our own being. We turn and do our own thing until we're in a mess, and then we're back here where the only thing that matters is that you are connected to your divine being. That's what I'm here for. The imagination is where you can connect. And so if you have a lot of heartbreak pain, you've been involved in trying to understand why you keep attracting the exact opposite, you know how that is. I have to have a sip of my juice. You know how it is when you are attracted to the exact opposite of what you're wanting. Can I hear an amen from the choir? Amen. I know I can't hear you, so that's why you got to hit the thumbs up. So now our my last reading of the night is going to be about the idea for Zane. What is it she needs to know about these wayward children? How old are they, right? Thank you. I amen that. Thank you, Zane. Thank you. I love that you said that. Yeah, I think I have adult children, and it is a trial to have adult children. Because I grew up religious, there was the promises if you raise up a child the way they're supposed to go, you know, eventually they'll find their way. I think my own parents would probably be disappointed in me. They're both passed away now, but I don't represent them spiritually. I created my own path, okay? So what I'm doing here about these readings, I might be wrong, and they may look at what I'm doing and feel that, wow, look what she's doing. It's so cool. Look at, she built that channel. She's a grandmother. What? Our daughter did that? I mean, they could respond like that, or they could respond with embarrassment because the way I present spirituality is not how I was brought up. So right now, this reading right now is about those adult children. You know, that's what the heart. What is it that you're supposed to know in this time of the vacancy between them? Okay, because you have a space between you. And so what is it in a one card reading? So Zane, be sure to send me an email if you'd like to participate in my game, my morning game. That's when I choose someone, I do. And Tejal, same thing. If you write me an email, I'll show the email in a moment. I will do a reading with your question as the theme for one of my morning pick-a-cards, and then I will draw cards personally for your situation at the end. Today's was about money worries, and it was wonderful. We had a great theme, and I was able to reward someone with that free reading. Okay, so meanwhile, though, I don't want to digress. Zane, I will say to you also that in the resources, you will find something called the Worry Cure. It's a nickname I have for what is the Divine Dumpster. And the Divine Dumpster is a place where you can dump all of the more uncomfortable emotions that go around not being with your loved one. Anybody who's in any kind of a no contact where somebody has asked you to please not contact them, that can be a very painful time for everyone involved. But it doesn't mean you need to stop talking to them. When you go to the description box and you find the Worry Cure, there's a place where you can talk to text or type, but on the phone, talk to text is much easier. And you can write a letter to your adult child. You can write a letter to your loved one. You can write a letter to anyone. Of course, you're not sending it, but you're creating a communication as if you were connected. One of the things that I cannot explain is that something happens in energy, in the ethers, whatever you want to call it, when you act as if. I mean, for me to act as if we're in Sedona tonight, right? It seems silly, but there's something magical that happens when you engage your imagination. So, Zane, first thing I want you to do is with those adult kids or with the kids that you're out of contact with, because they could be young children and this could be a divorce situation. But if you're out of contact with them, use the Worry Cure to talk to them. You know, dear Johnny, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you today. I want you to know I hope your music is really working out. I hope that your work is fulfilling, that your relationships are fantastic. Of course, I wish we were talking right now, but I honor you for the distance you feel you need. I don't understand it, but I'm not going to take it from you. I love you more than anything. When you want to come back, I'm open. Just to be able to say that out loud is so empowering. And you're saying it into this machine that I created, so you got to go look at it, okay? So, but that's the idea, is finding a way for you to detach from what you really desire. Next thing, you write a letter to God, and God can handle it. So you want to be open. I haven't even pulled your card yet, but you want to be really open and be angry at life. And you write to God because God's got big shoulders. So you say, Dear God, how could you let this happen? How could you let me be separated from this child? It was never my will. It was never my highest good. How could you have not shown me what to do? How could you have not taught me what I need? Why is it that I know now and I didn't know then? See what I'm doing? I'm just kind of letting myself whine it out. Okay? The machine is equally good for that, the worry solution. The Worry Cure. Use these techniques to dump that stuff away from yourself. It will help you achieve what we call the vortex. That's what Abraham Hicks teaches. You can YouTube search it. But it's just the ability to be awake, aware, and physically calm. To be awake, aware, sharp mentally, and physically relaxed. Believe it or not, that's enough to help you get to the part of your brain that will be super smart and help you with your solution. Okay? So that's what I have to say about adult kids. I could do readings. You know what? I probably will. I'm sure I will. Even Zane, I hope you email me so I can draw more cards for you. But that is an area of need. There's a lot of people that are in no contact with their own kids. Can I hear an amen? Okay, so let's grab a card for you, Zane, and see what the universe has, or source, the greater me in drawing this card. How does it match your needs personally beyond that bit of advice? And we have the Death card. Completely validated what I just said. Everything that you want, everything that you think you want from your kids, any picture in your mind that you've held on to, the reunion, the fantasy of it, that all has to go. Okay, I'm here to tell you as a Scorpio that everything you thought you wanted from your kids is not what you want. I'm here to tell you, I promise you, as a grandmother and as a mother of a child who right now is in no contact, just like your kids. Because when they come back to you, when they do come back, you want to be their soft place to fall. You don't want any I told you so, even though you have 25 I told you so's on the tip of your tongue, right? Because the decisions they're making are obviously not to their highest good. People need to be connected to different generations. You can't have a full picture of life if you're only seeing one age, right? Or one belief system, one paradigm. Now, let me tell you a miracle, Zane. Are you ready? Do you need one? Let me tell you what it is. In my life, I was very cut off from my parents before they passed. And I had interesting closure with both of them I'm willing to share on a different call. Before they passed, there was something that happened that brought me to a period at the end of the sentence. And I'm grateful for that. That doesn't happen to everyone. But the truth is that there is a way to learn how to hurt less, for sure. There is a way to learn how to hurt less, and it's learnable. And so Michael Singer writes a beautiful book called The Untethered Soul. That was his original work that got so much attention many years ago. But right now he's so available on YouTube, there's no excuse. He's very snarky, got a sense of humor. He'll tease you into reality, but he makes it so common sense. Like, how can you really want somebody else's behavior to be in charge of your well-being? How can it be right that your well-being, your right to be calm, would be in control of someone else? He's such a good teacher, I won't try to teach it because he's your man. But the whole idea of learning how to let that kid fall into their own consequences and to allow them that freedom, to allow them to be, if you're a religious person, you know the story of the prodigal son. And if you're not religious, you can Wikipedia it. For the reality is that if you allow that vision of what you're wanting to just be dead, to just be, there's no life in it, there's no air in that balloon, where you write those letters into that worry cure, and you write letters with your hand on paper that you never send, and just say, look, talk to your kid. Hi, kid. You know what? I had a very strange experience tonight. I had a tarot reading, and I don't even believe in tarot. But that woman said some common sense stuff, and even got an amen from Rosalind. Because the truth is, if they feel that you've let go completely, something really amazing might happen. And Abraham Hicks teaches the only reason we want to manifest something, fancy language to say, the only reason you want to hear from your kids in a meaningful way, Zane, is because you think you'll feel better having that happen. That's the key. It's why we pray for things, because we think when that happens, I will have a good experience. It will feel good. And while that is possibly true, the reality is that on your way to having that happen, 3 or 4 or 100 other things can happen that you didn't even ask for, that really bring you soul satisfaction and joy. And so the more we hold on to a picture in our mind of some perfect happily ever after that you may or may not really need, the more you hold it away from yourself. So this card I love. As a Scorpio, this is the card that is my card, this number 13. And I have been in a life of transition, one chapter to the next. And many of my loved ones have not understood my path. And one of them could be watching this reading tonight, which would be amazing. But I have a sibling who I have not ever had a understanding with. We're both on the neurodiverse scale at some level. Our dad was an IBM guy, and most of my brothers can program and within their sleep. And so we have a lot of difficult relationships because there's no whizzes in that department. For some reason, I've been on his mind. And so he reached out and contacted me after years. And he said to me, we had a very good conversation. And he's changed his perspective on some issues personally for him that make him more comfortable for me. Did he change for on my benefit? No. But because he softened his view on a couple of things, we connected. And then he said the most interesting thing to me. He said, "Do you know why I contacted you?" And I said, "No." He said, "I needed to find out why you fascinate me the way you do." And I said, "Wait a minute, say that again?" And he said the exact thing. "I needed to find out why you fascinate me." Which I can't wait to find out more about what he meant by that, because I'm not sure. But because he and I have been misunderstanding each other by long shots for years, all we need is the willingness to let the old paradigm die, the old ideas of what we thought we were. And we were both nervous before the phone call, and yet we're going to talk again. And I tell you personally, you guys, because the fact that you walk along with me, you're like my family. But I will tell you, it's the first person in my family. Like, I have 7 siblings. My parents are both passed away. But nobody in my family has ever looked at this part of my life, the tarot reading, the tapping, the teaching about what I teach about, that idea of the well-being that you can create for yourself. None of my family is aware of it or communicates to me about it. And so because of that, the fact that this particular sibling reached out is profound. I didn't ask for that particularly. I am wanting other things to happen. I'm in the middle between ask and it is given. But the reality, it was such a soul satisfying conversation to be respected. I could feel it. And it was a different feel than I felt for him in the past. It's completely. And I was able to express myself just like I'm expressing to you. I was completely authentically me and not worried about being careful. And so what's the value of that? And the death card, it simply is a reminder whenever it comes up, what part of your personality, and I'll pull this over because this has got to be my last card. I'm on 90 minutes. But this emblem, this totem, this good luck charm, this piece of pottery, this little ornament that was purchased at a gift store, and actually it was a gift from someone. And what it says to me now, whenever I look at it, it reminds me that I have a higher self. I have a part of Catherine is invisible. You cannot see her. She's bigger than me. Her energy goes outside my body, and that energy keeps me going. It shows me I'm on the right track. It puts me in the right place at the right time. It nudges me gently with curiosity and fascination and keeps me moving. And it warns me with winces and cringes. My whole body doesn't have to break down. I can just wince or cringe, and I can think to myself, what's going on right now? That's all your inner guidance system is. When you wince or you cringe, what's going on? Stop, pause. What's happening? Your inner being is saying, stop and pay attention. It speaks such a simple language. And then, as far as curiosity and fascination, those are part of the system where if something creates curiosity in you, you follow it. You did it as a child. When something fascinates you, you follow it. Again, if it becomes out of alignment, if it had a shelf life, like you were married for 29 years and then it was time to leave that marriage, your inner being probably told you that when you were married 19 years, like me. And I just kept ignoring my inner being because I had taken vows and I figured I hear my intuition, but I can make it work for 10 more extra years until finally it was way past the expiration point and I had to leap out into life by myself. So that's what this night is about. Thank you for those of you who have been here, who are still listening right now. I appreciate that most of the people that come into these is like an open house. You come in and out quick just to browse, and I appreciate that. So if you like my voice, if you like the way I read the cards, what you do now is I'm going to close up my little table. I'm going to go home. I'm going to have a cup of tea and relax after my day of readings. Thank you for those of you who left a tip in the tip jar. I deeply appreciate your thumbs up. If you would like for me to do a reading for you, I would love to. I'm always available on the lives for your viewing pleasure, but I do need helpers and collaborators, and I invite you to that experience. If you email me, I will seriously take your question to your heart. Zane, thank you. And I receive that love. I do. I do. Hit the thumbs up for the tangible, and I just adore that it connected for you. I am always quite touched by how one card can make such a difference. And that's why, for those of you that hire me to be your personal reader, and I can do a recording for you of 9, 10 more, where I can really draw specific advice for you. That there's nothing I love doing more, and I'm here for you. So please do email me with your questions. I apologize that I didn't get to everybody tonight. It's not possible, but I know for me, my inner being, like my little self, can feel I've disappointed some people, but my bigger being, my invisible self, knows that the exact right people were here at the exact right time. I'm going to be back, and I hope you will be too. I really love doing this, and you're making my life so much fun every day, except the weekends, because now my inner being said, Catherine, take off on the weekends. And I'm suffering a little bit, because even though I know my inner being is correct, because I wouldn't want any of my clients to work 7 days a week. I would tell them, you're crazy, go out and have a picnic. And if they said I don't have anybody, I would say, take your pretend tarot reader along. I'll go with you. But the reality is, I know that I need to do other things with my life. And I will be talking about that. I'll probably do a themed reading on how to take a day off when you're afraid that your business will disappear if you take time off. Can anybody relate? Anyway, thank you for being with me. I love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. Tomorrow morning, I will be doing an early morning pick a card. I haven't decided on what my topic is yet, but I'm going through my emails, so I will be picking one of you for tomorrow. All right? So go forth and prosper. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, and just know that you do matter to me. I think about you, and when I pull what cards or what deck I'm going to use, I pull it out with you guys especially in mind. Thank you so much, Roseanne, and thank you for all of you who send your love and your loving energy and support me. A fish out of renegade fish out of water, not afraid. Live fearlessly, right? Go for it, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.